everyone, welcome back. Today I'm very excited because it's a new week in the comic world, which means we got new issues. A lot of them for sure. So many X-Men ones, to be fair. I know today's big like DCKO day, but honestly it's like an X-Men day with all the Age of Revelation releases. But yeah, we got a lot of issues here, as you can see. Unfortunately, I spent a bit more than I wanted to, but as is always the case with comics, especially a lot of issue 1 releases like this, it's hard for me to pass up on issue 1s when I know I'm going to want to read them in the future, so it's like, why not get it now? But yeah, anywho, we'll start right off the top of the stack here to get into them. First off, we got Masterminds issue number 2. So if any of y'all watched my first New Reader recap, I think it was, Masterminds number 1 was in there. Really loved it. It reminds me a lot of, if anyone's ever seen the movie called The Game, it reminds me a lot of that. It's sort of like high society, like the world's elites, I guess, are part of the secret society, and they have all these like riddles and puzzles and stuff, but it's like real world stakes and scenarios, it seems so far. But our main character is a game developer, and he's basically being invited to potentially join these masterminds. So really interesting issue, the first one was, so I'm excited to check out number 2. Next up, Everything Dead and Dying number 2. This was in the same video as the Masterminds one. It is so good. I really loved the first one a lot. Kind of ended on a cool little cliffhanger with some humans showing up. I'm excited to see where this one goes, if it kind of takes the same tone or if we get more into like the reality of things, I guess. So looking forward to that one a lot. This one is a first for me. This is Something is Killing the Children. A monster hunter walks into a bar. So I have never read Something is Killing the Children at all. I don't know like what it's about really even. I think it's just like has something to do with monsters, and this is the main character of it. He takes out monsters. Once again, I'm going based off of very little information, like covers and mentions of it I've heard, but everyone says how just absolutely amazing it is. So this was a number 1 that popped up. This was the last like A variant cover that they had for it, so I grabbed it. Yeah, really looking forward to checking out that. I hope I don't need context for it for the main storyline before reading this, but we'll see. I'm assuming it sets up enough where you can just hop straight into it. Next up, we got The Amazing Spider-Man Torn. Spider-Man number 1. To be honest, that's why I grabbed it. I am looking forward to check out Spider-Man because, like I said, in the last Spider-Man Noir issue that I read in my other video, that was my first Spider-Man comic ever that I've read. So this will be a more traditional Spider-Man, I'm guessing, compared to Noir. I don't know what the Torn is and what that's in reference to, if this is like picking up from something or if this is just like a straight new series. So looking forward to it. On to the X-Men stuff. All of these right here are all X-Men new today from Age of Revelation, which is crazy. And this is only just the start. Like the next 3 weeks from here on out are all gonna have drops like this, I'm sure. So as much as I want to say like I won't get them all, I at least want to check out the first ones for each of them. So at least today we're doing that. We got The Amazing X-Men number 1. I'm assuming this will be following the team that we were following in the last issue 0 and or the Overture number 1, whatever. So I'm assuming this will be the one that picks up from there, hopefully. World of Revelation. I don't know really much about this one. I can see Revelation on it, and I see 3 characters on here. This almost looks like Fantastic Four to me. If like their son was growing up, Franklin. He's got like a big F in the middle. Looks like a Fantastic Four suit. I'm gonna be real. I don't know who any of these 3 guys are supposed to be, but they look very similar in features, I guess, kind of. Besides the one being green, but anywho, yeah, that one I'm a little lost on. Longshots. So I have not seen X-Men 97, the cartoon, so I don't know if this makes an appearance, but I have seen the original X-Men cartoon from the 90s. And I know there was an episode, at least one, if not multiple, with Mojo and Longshot. This character here being Longshot, I think, is just like TV star. And Mojo makes like content and media and stuff out of these people and their lives. It's interesting. So I'm not like crazy about it, but just because I knew what it was, it made me more inclined to read this one. So yeah, we'll see. This one, Laura Kinney's Sabretooth. Yeah, I don't really know much about the character, but this is really cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. For what I know about Sabretooth, I don't know much about Laura, other than, Up and X stuff, but yeah. And last, for the Age of Revelation, we got Binary. which I think is Phoenix related stuff. Once again, forgive me. Just starting X-Men comics. This is actually a variant cover. This is the only variant cover of these I got because I just really like this one a lot. The first default, like the A one, is really nice too. It's not like too far off, but I like with the planet and all the detail and the flames and stuff, like really cool. So that's it for the X-Men stuff. A lot of those to be going through for sure. I'll probably do like a video just on these Age of Revelation issue ones. Next up we got Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. I was in there like right at the start when my shop opened today, and this was the first thing that I grabbed, and I went to look for the variant cover because it was the only issue today that I was looking for that I knew I wanted a variant of, but they did not have it, unfortunately. Wasn't crazy about the covers for this issue. We got Superboy and Shazam. This last issue ended with Superman turning into a boy, so yeah, it can be them two playing together. It's funny, I guess. I really like this line though. So far, this run is really enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to that one. Do I need to say anything? We know. We all know. We all know. And last but not least, the main event for today. We've got our one cover here that you probably saw me hold up at some point on the back of the sack maybe, but this is our bracket variant cover. So we got all our attendees for the DCKO tournament on here. Apparently Shazam was supposed to make an appearance in some way, shape, or form. Other than that, I don't know if anyone else is going to show up. Like I said, I kind of wish Joker was there. I feel like I've seen him on some covers and stuff, but not in the bracket, so who knows. And then the Daniel Warren Johnson version. This one's so sweet. I think the issue 2 is supposed to have another one from him with like Wonder Woman and the Joker, I want to say. So, yeah, that is the stack for today. And we got one more bonus thing, which before I get into reading any issues, our last item here that we've got is a DCKO blind bag. So we're going to open this up right now and check it out. Don't know what's in this one. Lights Out Polybag Special Edition. Each bag includes one randomly inserted foil variant covered by a superstar artist. Tripping over my words, but yeah, DCKO blind bag. Let's just pop this thing right open and see what we get. Alright, moment of truth. Actually, let me get this a little closer. Alright, let's do it. There we go. I think this is one of the like main covers, I want to say. I mean, not main, one of the variants of the DCKO covers. Like I feel like I saw this one on the shelf, but this is the foil version of it. DCKO issue 1. Greg Capullo, Jonathan Clapton, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce names. Alex Sinclair, yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the issue, and this one looks really cool. This is not one of the ones that I bought, obviously, if this is one of the default covers. Sorry for the angle. I'm trying to like show off as much of it as I can, but between my reflection and the light up here, got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman on the blue side, Lex Luthor, Cheetah, Joker here on the red. Which is why I'm like, Joker again. Why is there so much of the Joker if he's not in this tournament? But yeah, there's our foil blind bag variant cover pull. Let's get into reading some issues. I gotta say, the one thing about these foil covers that I'm not overly crazy about is just how easy it is to stain them with fingerprints. These things absolutely love fingerprints. They get all over it so fast and so quick. I should say love or hate. I guess they hate fingerprints. They hate having fingerprints on. I hate having fingerprints on them. But yeah, cool little variant cover right there. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. Yeah. So we're going to start with DCKO. Obviously, we're going to read this one today just to get it out the way. After that, I'm actually thinking about checking out the Amazing X-Men #1 because once again, I think this is going to be picking up right off from where the last issue was that I read just a day or two ago. So I kind of want to see where that picks up from, and maybe I could get some more information. So at least for now, we'll be checking out those 2 issues. Getting started with DCKO right now. Also, if you haven't checked out my video from last night that I just uploaded, I've got my DCKO bracket predictions up in there, so make sure to check it out. I completed the whole bracket all the way to who I think the Ultimate Champion is going to be. So I've got that pulled up just in case, because I'm expecting at least some people to be knocked out immediately in this first round. So we shall see. Like I said, if you haven't checked out that video. Alright, now we're going to start. I know this like preview for the first couple pages of this has been out for a while, but like this little double spread here of Darkseid with all the laser and everything going on is so cool. It's really sick, just spread that's going on. They got I just don't think I've mentioned it at all in the past couple issues I've read where it's in the back of the. I usually don't go through the previews like that, but I just wanted to mention it now because it's a really nice picture. Just before I get any further, not what I was expecting. Like I knew from the prelude that we just read a day or two ago for this, we see Booster Gold in the Trapper and the Watchtower, and they're talking to the Justice League and trying to convince Superman of what could possibly be done to prevent this future from happening. And we pick up from there, which like I was expecting tournament stuff, but for some reason I thought we were going like right into it, and then we'd get a flashback. But no, we're like right at the start, basically right after from where the prelude picked up. And it's really cool. They're explaining a lot of stuff about Darkseid finally and what's going on with him, which, like, I guess it's stuff we've kind of been able to insinuate up until this point, but here they've just laid it out. Darkseid is like King Omega. He's just full of this Omega energy. He is absolute. He is like uncertainly going to destroy this world unless we make a new King Omega who can defeat him. In order to do so, we have to hold this tournament where all these heroes are fighting against each other, and becoming the King Omega means defeating the Heart of Apocalypse, which it's not like possible with them. They have to be like full force, all out, like Darkseid level of intention into their combat, I guess. And by that I mean the intention to conquer, to be the one, to like rule all. So really interesting so far concept. Like once again, it's stuff we kind of already knew, but just having it all laid out here is really cool. And I love what they're talking about with the universe, with like the absolute universe, and that being a spin-off from like Darkseid's Omega power as energy or whatever. I guess that's leaking into that universe and this causing all the absolute stuff to happen, which is really cool. Yeah. Anyways, we'll get back to this. Damn, that's crazy. um, yeah, just reading the beginning of this little chapter 3 page and talking about the visions they have and being ripped away from them, man, that certainly would fuel you, I imagine. Well, I guess that's it for Shazam. That was quick. Whoa, they got ambush bug in here. That's pretty crazy. That's funny. They just toss an ambush bug. Why not? Damn. So just like that. Crazy. Where did I have? Bro, I got him like all the way to like quarterfinals. That's crazy. What? What? Come on, man. Cool, cool. Damn. Yeah, so we didn't even like get to the tournament. We're not even at like the actual fight between all the people competing in the brackets. That being said, we still have one person who has already been knocked out of our brackets. Wow, so much just happened there at the end. That was really cool. All this stuff with that. All right, we're gonna start from the beginning. Cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was all right. Whatever issue. So first thing we see, Superman's gearing up for the fight. It looks like, but it's a board game. Bruce, Diana, Clark, they're all playing this board game together with Lois and stuff. And outside they see Darkseid appears, and he's doing all this damage and taking out the planet. That's when it kind of jumps back to our reality at the Watchtower, and we see this is all being explained to Superman. They're like, hey, this is going to happen in a week's time. So we've got until then to figure something out. That's when they figure out the idea for the tournament. Like I said, one of them has to basically fill the role of Darkseid. They have to become the like Omega King, the Conqueror, the one with no mercy, the one who the universe bends to. So they're in the Watchtower. This is being explained to all of them, and they set it up. They're like, hey, we got a week before this happens, so see. Then and we jump through kind of the superheroes week about how that goes. So on the first day, it says that they move to secure the villains, which Mr. Terrific sends out all those T-spheres to all these villains that we see. The next page it cuts and we see all the different villains that all these spheres are showing up to, because they don't want the villains taking the position of this King Omega the ruler, because it's one thing to have Darkseid in that position, but imagine Lex Luthor, the Joker, or any of these crazy villains with that much power. So they go to secure them, whatever that means, sending out the T-spheres, I guess, just to go check on them and make sure they're all good. On the second day, they meet with the world leaders and discuss what they're going to be doing, basically. On the third day, they delegate the chosen speaker, aka Superman, to address the world, to break the news to the world and what their plan is, and heroes that they'll be taking their place and stuff while they're gone and whatnot. There's an interesting part where they say that his voice cracks. He kind of falters a little bit during this speech, I guess, and it's not because he doesn't believe in himself in the words that he's saying, but because he isn't sure if the people are gonna believe him in that way. Which I thought it was interesting for Superman. His voice to crack is not something something serious going on. But yeah, they make these super crazy high-tech bunkers and everything for everyone to evacuate to, just in case all the emergency service or emergency preparations and all that, just in case. After that, day 4, we see the heroes. They all spend time together with their families, just alone, private, peaceful time, enjoying life. On the 5th day, they all go to gear up. They all figure out their special weapons, gadget, gizmos, whatever it is that they're going to be taking with them. And on the 6th day, they basically head out for the tournament. So they head to this point of the center of the Earth. Booster Gold goes to open it for them, whatever. Basically, they have to reset the Heart of Apocalypse that's at the center of the Earth, the thing that chose Darkseid as, Heart of Apocalypse is the thing we're after. So basically, in order to choose a new leader, they had to stop it. They have to reset it. So here they stop it for, it says, a few hundred zeptoseconds, however long that is, but it's long enough that it is stopped and it resets, and immediately the first thing it sees is all these heroes coming at it, which is what I was talking about with the visions. So they all immediately get a vision, apparently, of what it would be like for all of them to win. They see themselves as the champion, they see the universe and what they can do, all the good that could benefit with them as the leader. So that part was really cool. I kind of wish we saw some of those examples, because we just get it on this chapter 3 page here that explains it, and it's man, that I know, I can imagine for a lot of these heroes being in that position and seeing what that's like, it really changes a lot of their minds and the perspective for some of them who are maybe not for me or whatever, but we have to do this for the sake of the Earth, and then they see it and they see the outcome and they're like, oh, maybe I do want it. So I kind of wish we saw some of those, but we just get it here in the text that, they each go through that moment. Now all of a sudden they're here. There's these giant apocalypse titan demon things. I don't know what they are, but they tell them they're all combatants. They have to complete the trials or whatever. Basically, they have to reach this portal that's at the end of the place that they're at, and there's enemies and stuff or whatever showing up. The parademons and stuff like that. All the superheroes and everything like that, they're all going through fighting people. They're all entering the portal, or at least the ones that can. Some of them are being taken out. We see, they're just fighting these things. Superman at first kind of starts off a little rough by attacking the enemies, and Batman's like, yo, get your head in the game, bro. We're not here for that. We got to take it seriously. But Superman is kind of taking his time. He's clearing everything out, making a path so that everyone else can kind of get through. And in doing so, he realizes that of all the people who have went through yet, Batman has not made it through. He's like, well, if anyone's going to make it through, it's Batman. All of a sudden, Batman goes to approach him, and before they can even get one sentence out, Batman gets stabbed through the back. He's done already, immediately out of the bracket. Like I said, I got this man going till the quarterfinals, basically. I had Zatanna beating him, but not that any of that matters now. I had him beating out Star Sapphire and Red Hood before losing to Zatanna. All out the window. He's gone. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy twist. I was not expecting Batman to be gone before the tournament even began. Kind of happy, not because screw Batman or anything like that, but for something different, for something unique. It also allowed up a new slot, because Batman was supposed to be in this 32 slots, as we know. Who replaced Batman? none other than holy mumble of words. Who replaced him? None other than the one that killed him, Joker. So yeah, every time I was like, "Where's Joker? Why is Joker not in the bracket?" We keep saying so much Joker. Joker is in the bracket. He took Batman's place, which is crazy. But upon seeing this, and not just Joker showing up and killing Batman, but all these other villains who these heroes did not want participating in this are now here to participate. So we've got Joker, we've got King Shark, we got Starro, Cheetah, Giganta, and Lex Luthor. It all shows here. Immediately after Bruce is dead and Superman sees this and realizes again the stakes and what's happening, he unleashes. They say that he hears like a sound he's never heard before, but it's his heartbeat. He blasts through there. He's the last one who ends up making it into the portal. However, we get, like I said, all these different villains who made their way in, including Superman. And then we flip the page and we see our bracket. And like I said, it's same bracket that we were looking at before, except Joker is our 32nd position, not Batman. So yeah, really cool. I'm pretty excited and pumped about that. And then you're like, oh damn, that's crazy. Oh, that's a cool spot to end it. We're gonna get into the tournament. It's like, oh, not done yet. Hold on, wait just a minute. We got a couple more pages. Immediately we flip the bracket page and it's revealed to us that the narration that we've been reading all along for a while now has been coming from the Heart of Apocalypse itself. It is the one that's been narrating the story, and it tells us here that it knows who the champion of this tournament is. It knows the outcome. And then the visuals, it starts to show like the inside, the inner workings of, I guess, the heart and what's happening in there and what's being created. And we're seeing Shazam and Blue Beetle are being like, it looks like, I don't know, 3D printing almost, like they're in there. And I don't know if that's just them being like claimed, like if that's them actual selves that were just killed or defeated in the little trials beforehand, and now they're getting zapped into here, or if this is like creating versions of them now that they're out of the tournament that are going to be introduced later, like evil versions, or they're going to be under the control of Apocalypse or whatever. They're going to be shoved in. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but not even the craziest part. Immediately, the page after, it says that the 3 destroyers are going to be showing up. Darkseid's 3 destroyers are going to be showing up. Horsemen from a world where his rule is absolute monster, or absolute period monsters. So this reveal was crazy, because same thing how we're seeing this like I said, it looks like 3D printing. I guess like stone statues of Shazam and Blue Beetle and stuff in here. We are seeing these 3 stone statues of our main absolute trio. Absolute Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are here. And it seems like they're going to be introduced into this DCKO tournament along with the rest of the Justice League, which is crazy. And like I was just saying, I'm excited for Batman that he's not in it. Could you imagine Batman versus Absolute Batman? Can you imagine Batman seeing that version of himself? That would be so crazy. God. Seeing all 3 of them in there and show up in the tournament period is going to be super sweet. It makes me want to catch up with Superman and Wonder Woman because I'm very behind, so I need to do that. But yeah, they're all introduced. Still not the end. We got one more final little tiny detail, just a little twist to tuck in there, and that is that the king himself, Darkseid, is participating in this event. Not as himself even. He is in disguise. He has posed himself as one of the combatants for this tournament. So no one knows that Darkseid's in it. Darkseid, the King Omega, is competing in this tournament for the new King Omega. So apparently that's a possibility where he just wins and is like, hey, screw you guys in your plan. I'm still me. So yeah, who knows? What an absolutely crazy twist there. Just those last couple pages were bonkers. Next thing we see on the next issue preview here is let's choose your weapons, and we're seeing a couple different characters. It looks like Superman is holding Hawkman's mace. Wonder Woman is wearing some type of armor and holding a weapon. I, to be honest, couldn't tell you whose it is, but it looks like Harley has got some electricity around her with some like clenched fist and like this red band on. It kind of looks like she's wearing Flash's suit under with all the yellow electricity, so it looks like she's got Flash's powers, and then Lobo with Bane's juice because that's necessary. So yeah, it looks like whether that's just a cool cover for the design or some of them as weapons actually got to take like other heroes and villains stuff. So we can see some little crossover like this, like Harley Flash or Lobo Bane. I will say it makes more sense because I'm like, how is Harley gonna advance anywhere in this tournament? But for her to have something like the Flash's powers, it's like, okay, yeah, now you might make it somewhere. Um, so I'm very excited for the second issue. Wow, look at that! They put a bracket here at the end, and they got Batman crossed off already. Sick. Yeah. Wow. What an issue! What a way to open the event. That was amazing. Yeah, that's DCKO. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that one. What you thought when you read it. Yeah, I don't even know what to say from that. It was just so much dropped right at the end. I was like, oh, this is really cool, a lot of information, and then we started fighting and seeing stuff, and I'm like, okay, I want to get to the tournament, but this stuff is pretty interesting, and then just all that gets dropped at the end, and you're like, oh, like, I mean, yes, I want to see the tournament with this, but God, to see the absolute trio introduced into here, I need it now. Yeah. All right. So, we're gonna move on from there to the Amazing X-Men Age of Revelation, issue 1. Let's do it. Maybe other issues do this, and I could be very wrong about this, but like I can't think of many other issues where I've seen this, but it reminds me a lot of manga where they've got the little like intro bit here that it gives you like a little bio sort of main story, sort of like issue story, and then your like cast of characters and all that stuff. It just kind of reminds me of that. I like it. It's cool because it gives you a little bit of information without having to go back and read the previous issue. Maybe someone watched my video and was tired of me not knowing characters' names, so they're like, put them right at the front. That was really cool. No, I really like this one. Compared to the last one, if y'all watched my video just the other day when I went over the X-Men Age of Revelation Overture, it felt a lot. I felt very lost. It was just like a bit of information dump, at least just trying to grasp the concept of what's going on with everyone and trying to learn the characters and all that. Because first time reading X-Men here, so forgive me. But this one I really liked a lot more. This one I got into. This was even really funny. I found myself chuckling at a bit of the writing. But yeah, so this picks up immediately, like I was saying, from the overture where we left off last time, right after they had just escaped Logan. So they're kind of on the run right now. Logan is still after them. At the beginning, we see Cyclops and Beast. They're talking with the crew and kind of, grappling what's happening with the situation and everything like that, trying to get information to figure out what's going on. Kind of same boat that I'm in. And even Animalia has something with Beast going on. I don't know their relationship personally. Like I said, I feel like I'm in Beast's shoes because I don't know the relationship between Beast and Animalia, if they're related at all, but he calls her Miss Starkey when she hands him something, and she seems kind of shocked about it. She's like, Miss Starkey? She's like, you don't even know. And she flies off, and Beast is like, what I do, bro? I don't, so I don't know what their relationship is, but, I guess there's something going on between them. Next, we cut to a scene elsewhere that's just out in the Revelation lands, whatever, and we see Revelation and his crew approaching a wild Logan, a wild Wolverine, and Logan goes to resist Revelation. We see him, he's kind of goes to pop his claws, and Revelation is using his powers, his ability, his words to speak to Logan and tell him, like, you don't want to do this, you want to join me, bow down, kneel to me, you want to fight and kill for my enemies, for my purposes. And Logan's kind of resisting. His claws come out, he's still fighting the urge, and Revelation asks for help to lend strength from someone, and he agrees, and still Logan is resisting, so he asks for help for 2 more people, and finally Logan backs down, and he finally succumbs to Revelation's power. So Logan put up a fight there. He's certainly in there. He's strong, and he's not, he's not gone. He's not gone, but for now, Revelation's got him locked. We cut back to the X-Men crew. They're out traveling, and they go to the original site of the Xavier Institute, except it's no longer Xavier Institute. It is a prison, basically, and they pull up and they find the crucified body of the lady who was sort of like running the prison, basically. All the places where the X-Virus began, what started all of this, and all the torturing and experimenting that was happening to the mutants was kind of through this lady. So Revelation crucified her and left her here kind of as a symbol. So pretty heavy stuff. They're like, why has no one come back to this place? And that's because it's haunted. Haunted by who or what? by, in fact, one of Rogue's children, which I didn't know Rogue had children. Um, I don't know if this is like a smaller character or if that's kind of like a pretty regular canon thing that Rogue eventually has kids. Um, Once again, I'm very limited on my X-Men knowledge, but what I know of Rogue touches a big no-no, so... Anywho, this is one of Rogue's children named Death Dream, who I guess is controlling all of the dead here, and it sounds like they're dead themselves because they keep saying like they don't fear death and all that, but yeah, they are here at the place. The X-Men show up, and within the Rebel they find some tech from Forge and from Beast for a teleporter that should get them to Philadelphia, where they're trying to go. So they're going to assemble this portal, and Animali is looking around in the woods, and she spots Wolverine. Logan is back. He found them. He caught up. So Logan immediately rushes into the scene. The X-Men some are scrambling to put the portal together, while some are trying to fight back and stop him. So Logan's coming in hot. The X-Men are fighting. All of a sudden, Logan leaps through, and the part that my jaw dropped, he took off Death Dream's head. Which, yeah, I was not expecting. I was like, oh, Rogue's kid? I'm like, that's really cool. And I'm like, oh, they have, like, powers over ghosts and the dead and all that, and they're dead. I'm like, they seem really cool and powerful. I'm like, I'm excited to be introduced to this character. I'm like, maybe a new team member down the line or something like that. But, no, just introduced to be ripped away like that. So, Death Dream gone. The X-Men barely make it out because the ghosts start to go all crazy, and Logan is there and coming after him hot still. They barely make it out of the portal again. Logan is left behind with all the ghosts. That's the end of that we see. All of a sudden, the X-Men are not in Philadelphia where they expect to be. They're in Providence, which they're like, Providence is the one area that's not run by Revelation. You know, if Revelation's got all this power and all this land and all this people and stuff, like, why would he not have Providence? What's in Providence that he hasn't taken it yet? And you flip the page and it's revealed to us that that's because Providence is under the rule of the Dark Child, aka Magic, but, you know, Dark Child version. So Dark Child is here, Juggernaut is here, and Psylocke is here as well. So pretty exciting stuff. I really enjoyed this issue a lot, and I'm looking forward to where this line goes. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be reading all of these Age of Revelation issues, because there's just so many of them. Like I said, I at least want to check out the ones, but this one I'll for sure be checking out number 2. I liked the issue 0 and the Overture a lot, which is why I'm, you know, starting these, so it makes sense for me to just kind of keep continuing with the team and the crew and the story that I've been following thus far. It seems now we're kind of going to branch off from the Revelation stuff and go right into Providence and with Dark Child, and I guess we're going to be focusing on this for a while, where, you know, the other Revelation stuff is going to be happening elsewhere across the map and stuff, I'm sure. So yeah, really cool issue. Yeah, some good reads for today for sure to be had, at least in the superhero realm. I do want to check out some of these indies and stuff, but unfortunately I am starving and it's getting a little bit late, so I got to cook. If you would like to see any of these upcoming issues for me, such as Something is Killing the Children, Absolute Batman, Spider-Man, Torn, Everything Dead and Dying, Masterminds, Superman, all this stuff, stay tuned till this upcoming week. We've got our new reader recap where I'll be reading some of these for the first time, as well as discussing and reviewing all of these new issues, so stay tuned for that one. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you all enjoyed the DCKO event, at least the start of it. We're off to a very exciting, very thrilling first couple of pages, and the tournament hasn't even technically began yet, so pumped for the next issue. Yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.